I'm Justin Decons.
I'm Kieran Gorjala.
I'm Alex Lee.
I'm Molly Herbert.
And we're SmartGrid. SmartGrid is a decentralized solution to a highly centralized problem. It's the problem of load shedding, where demand for electricity is always greater than the supply. We hope to solve this by changing the way we actually shed load and make it more efficient. And the way we hope to do this is by removing individuals and individual devices and removing a percentage that we need to remove from the load as a whole rather than portions of the grid.
So basically, we're taking power outlet from the wall and making it into an electrical switch. So I had to apply my knowledge of AC power, DC power, and relays to turn on and off the power from the signal that Kieran and the programmers were giving me.
So my role in the SmartGrid project is really in background research and the social impact. And so I look a lot at how it can impact people's lives and make them better, and also give kind of a rough estimate of the impacts that we can see.
Your goal is to reduce power by 50%. When you send the command to cut down 50% to all the boxes, that goal is not necessarily attained on the first try. So when that 50% reaches all the way down to the most basic layer, down all the boxes, then you need a feedback loop where the children then sends the feedback to the parent node telling how much power has actually been achieved. And since not all power can be cut down, that feedback then tells the parent node, oh, I need to cut down more power from a different section. So then if that different section then also does not achieve 50% power reduction, then you go back up another level, all the way up until the initial goal to cut down 50% power is achieved.
You're starting from the topmost layer and you can go down layer by layer. So the application that we have built in here it's node logic. It can only do two things. It can either pass that packet of information that's gone on to the pi's identities that's preserved within it to those pi's, or it can execute that. And so when it receives that packet of information, what's going to happen is it's going to execute it and reduce its internal network by 10% by passing it on, by reducing the device it's connected to by 10%, and then passing that information on to each of its subtrees, who then reduce by 10%, then pass to their subtrees, reduce by 10%, pass to their subtrees, and so forth and so on until every single node has been hit.
My aspect of the project was to focus primarily on the hardware design for our boxes. And my overall goal while doing this was to make something that was easily repeatable, simple, and cheap. And also I needed to incorporate something that could be implemented into the current technology that's already out there. So it's not something that people have to go out and buy all new equipment for, but something that they can essentially put in line with what they already have today.
My contribution to this project was really bringing the more human side to the technology. This project wasn't just a solution to a technical problem, but it was also a tool to be used to make other solutions to the social and economic problems that are plaguing rural India. I think my biggest influence for working on this project would be all the kids and young people I met on my study abroad in India. It really encouraged me to see that there's so much potential in the country and that this project can really help tap into that.
My greatest influence is probably the fantasy books that I read, and it was not close to fantasy magic than software itself.
My inspiration in my life is actually Nikola Tesla, and the reason I chose him was because when I was actually in high school I read a little book about him and how he, at the time, basically DC electricity was kind of the mainstream, and he challenged basically everything that we knew and pushed towards this new development of technology, and that's what I would like to do in my future.
Mine's a little easy. It's probably my family. I was born and raised in India, in that same small town that still doesn't get electricity for more than 12 hours a day. So for me, it's definitely producing a solution that I can take back when I do go back to India and say, hey, here's a way that we can make it better.
Anything that stood out in particular about the team? There have been many things that I saw this team do that were noteworthy, including just a very high level of professionalism and teamwork between the members. And I feel that their output was very high quality. They really thought through the problem, they thought through the ways that it could be developed and implemented, and they also have thoughts as to where it could go in the future. It's been very exciting to watch them do this, and I'm very grateful to both UW Bothell and Microsoft for making that happen for these students.